Hey everyone, welcome to my show. I'm Tiffany with My So-Called Fabulous, and I'm here to talk to you today about one of my favorite things. Oh my goodness. If you have followed me or if you know me, you know I love a nice, beautiful, clean, sparkling home. And I love interiors. I can't even tell you that is my happy place, the beautiful place. And I'm bringing you today one of my dear friends and interior designer, Shayne Morrissey, with Morrissey
Home Solutions.
There it is.
Yeah.
There you go. I got a little tongue-tied there. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you're here. And I have to say, you are my first interior person here.
Hey, I'm glad I can do it.
After, let's see, we're at 9 months now of doing this. So, yeah, it's so great to, I've been talking to you about it. But when you started doing your live shows, I went, okay.
That's what did it.
That's what did it. So you are an interior designer. You are a degreed interior designer. We were just talking about the difference, okay? The difference between a true interior designer and a decorator. Tell me that.
Yeah. So I think that, there are a lot of people who refer to themselves as an interior designer. Some of those people may be sales associates. Maybe it's somebody who just wants to get into interior design as a hobby. But really, in order to be an interior designer, you have to have a degree. You have to have an educational background. Otherwise, that's a decorator. And decorators are fabulous too, but there is a distinction between interior designers and interior decorators.
Right. I would be a decorator, everyone. I hate to say.
And a fabulous decorator at that.
I do. I'm going to put the word fabulous decorator. I love it. I just can't get enough. During COVID, I started, okay, we just finished our home. We did a big remodel.
Right.
All right. So it's almost 2 years when we're still not finished. But during COVID, Shayne, I was in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm redoing all this. I'm starting over.
Yeah.
What is that?
You know what? I think that people love interior design. We know that you especially love it. And so I think that, when you start to settle in, there are always, that bug starts to get going again. And I think we always have a tendency to make changes and modifications. I know for me in my own house, it's like, it's never done. There's always something that I want to change or another area of the house that I want to redesign in some way. So I just think that's normal.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I love Tiffany blue. I love pink. So I'm sitting in the kitchen, which we're in the COVID, during COVID, we were in the kitchen a lot. Oh my goodness.
We all have been, right?
I'm like, I hate this. I don't like this. I'm just picking it apart. And then someone will come in and go, oh my gosh, these colors are so fabulous. But, it's just that for me personally, I continuously tell Greg, we're not finished. We're not finished. He's like, oh, we're finished. I mean, we're not finished.
I know that it seems like the husbands are always finished and the wives are like, no, we got more to do here.
I know. I need to start selling some art too, because I changed my mind on art.
Yeah. But you know what? That's the beautiful thing about art is that if you buy great art and you buy art that is valuable, you can trade it and you can sell it. And there are a lot of people who do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful because you might need some art, some of my art.
Yeah, I might. I got to come take a look. Let me check out the inventory.
Exactly. Okay. So you have always known since you were a young boy that you loved interiors. So tell us the story about your family. I was cracking up.
Yeah.
What do y'all do with your allowance? Young boys and girls. What did you do?
Well, so my dad was a general contractor, still is a general contractor. And when I was growing up, I would always negotiate with my parents to get allowances to redo my bedroom. I think it was redone 4 times. I had a muralist come in and paint the bedroom once. I mean, actually, it had 2 murals. It was painted with murals 2 different times. So I redecorated it about 4 times in my childhood until I went to college, which is so different from most kids that age. But,
a little bit. Yeah.
And I remember, I always grew up in construction because my dad was a contractor. And so I was always involved in that. I would work for him during the summers. But I remember coming home from school one day when I was probably about 15 and my mom had Oprah on, and Oprah had this designer who is super, super famous now, but she kind of put him on the map, but it's Nate Berkus.
Oh yeah.
And Nate Berkus was on TV and he was so handsome and just so knowledgeable. And I didn't even know what an interior designer was at the time. And so that's really how I came to find out about it. And then we had a neighbor across the street who was a designer. And so I got to know her and I got to know her work. And so, it was decidedly so. I was going to be an interior designer and I never wavered from that.
You
And
never
so,
did.
No, I knew from a really young age what I wanted to do.
That is so
Yeah.
tremendous. I mean, what a gift.
I was really lucky. I
And
mean,
your dad being in the business too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Which we will get to that. But you graduated high school. Are you from Fort Worth? You
I
are.
am.
You went to high school.
I went to high school at Nolan Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you went to the Art Institute in Dallas.
I did.
And got your degree in interior design. So when you did that and graduated, so it was the recession, or we were just coming out of the recession?
It was 2012, so we were coming out of it. And interior design was definitely something that, is something that is not a necessity. And so there weren't a lot of...
Yes, it is.
It is for, yeah.
I mean-
Actually, let me correct myself. It is. For me, it absolutely is a
Start over.
necessity. Yeah,
Yeah.
Please hire me. But anyway, there weren't a lot of firms that were hiring at the time. And so I went to work at the World Trade Center in Dallas and did some temporary work in one of the showrooms there. And I ended up doing really well. And so I did the Las Vegas market, I did the Atlanta market, and that's how I met my first boss right out of school, who was Gary Riggs in Dallas. And so I went up to him. I knew who he was because if you know who he is, you can't mistake him. He's like a rock star. Anyway, so I approached him and I said, "Hey, I'm Shayne Morrissey. I just graduated from the Art Institute." And I said, I love your work. And I just wanted to give you my contact information. And I just got it all out because I was so nervous to meet him. And the next day, his assistant called me. And a week later, I had an interview and he hired me.
You're joking.
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. So what were you, he just hired you to come on?
He hired me to be his assistant. So he
Right.
actually let go of his assistant and hired me. And we furnished homes all over the place. We had a mountain home in Utah that we did. There was a house in Connecticut that we were working on, a house in Boston. And so it was great because here I was right out of college and I got to travel. I got to learn how to furnish homes and how to style homes from him. And that's something that you would think that you would learn in design school, but you don't. It's so technical. It's all about space planning. It's all about codes. It's very architectural, those are very important facets of interior design that everybody needs to know. But I actually got to learn the fun stuff by being in the field and actually being able to furnish people's homes, which was really great.
Isn't that great? And what a passion for that.
Yeah.
Right out of college, can y'all imagine right out of college, getting that dream job, getting the dream job with a dream rock star.
It was so cool.
Flying all over the place.
It was so cool. And the part I didn't even mention is that, there was this time that we were in class in college and we had it was like some silly trivial assignment, busy work that we were doing. And we had to flip through magazines and cut out images that inspired us because we were doing development for projects that we were about to present, right? And so I was sitting next to my friend and I saw an ad for Gary Riggs, the guy who hired me, Gary Riggs Home, in the magazine. And I told my friend Joe, I looked at him and I said, "I'm going to work for that guy someday." And then there it was, my first job right out of school. It was crazy.
It was crazy. Now,
Yeah.
you worked in the Trade Center, World Trade Center momentarily,
Yes.
right?
Momentarily. Yeah. I was just doing temporary work there.
However, isn't that a beast in itself? Isn't that
It is a
different?
beast.
That's a different
It is
avenue.
a beast. And now I'm there every week. Every week I'm sourcing furniture there and textiles and accessories and things like that. So I got my feet wet by working there. And now I use it as a resource all the time. Yeah.
And the relationships that you make over there,
Yes.
for sure. Okay, so when you were working and going all over the place, were y'all building homes, or were you just coming in and doing the interiors? What were you doing?
We were doing some finished selection for the projects and we were furnishing them. So We weren't doing the building at the time. It was just interior design specific. Yeah.
Wow. How exciting. And I mean, between Denver, did you say? I mean, all
We did, yeah.
Connecticut?
There was in Park City in Utah. We did a house in Connecticut, one in Boston, one in Clearwater Beach in Florida.
Oh,
So it
gosh.
was really cool. I got to do all this traveling, and I thought I was super, super cool and hip to have
bet
that
you
right out of
did.
school.
I
Yeah,
bet you thought you were all
I
that in a
sure
bag of
did.
chips.
I sure did. And then I learned otherwise. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So what because now you and your father, Morrissey, why can't I speak today? But Morrissey Home Solutions.
Yeah.
So what was the caveat for you changing over? What happened?
So,
Did you piss someone off?
No, but I love to tell this story. So I was an assistant. That was my job, and so I didn't really have a hand in making a lot of the selections for the projects I was working on when I was working in Dallas. And so, I was lamenting to my dad about this one day that, I really want to have more control over my work. I want to, get involved in, maybe doing something a little bit different. I know I want to do interior design, but I don't know exactly how I want to do it. And he said, well, have you ever thought about coming to work for me? And I said, well, no. I said, you're in construction and I'm a designer. And I said, I just don't see how the two of those things pair together. I'm 23 years old at the time.
Okay, there
right?
you go. There.
And he said, okay, all right. Well, the offer's on the table. And 6 months later, I went to bed one night and I was just praying, let me just wake up and know the answer. Well, I woke up, I went into work, I quit my job. I was working for my dad 2 days later.
Really?
And yeah. And so he owned a company called Custom Carpentry by David Morrissey at the time. And so I went to work for him and, I became a project manager. I got my hands dirty a lot. I was doing a lot of demolition. I was doing a lot of project coordinating, managing the subcontractors. And then I had this client, a fabulous client of mine who, hired us to do the remodel for her house. And she found out that I was an interior designer, of course, because I told her.
Sure.
And she said, well, will you design the whole thing for me too? And I thought, well, I don't have a fee structure for this. I don't know what I'm,
Right.
but I just ran with it.
Sure.
And I designed her house. And then I thought, well, this needs to be our business model. This needs to be a design-driven remodeling company. And so I pitched the idea to my dad, and I said, we're gonna have to change the name of the business. We're gonna have to form a new company. And he said, well, what would you call it? And I said, I would call it Morrissey Home Solutions. And so that's really how it began. And it was amazing. I mean, in the first year that we started Morrissey Home Solutions, our revenue doubled because people were so energized about a comprehensive proposal that included interior design services and general contracting. We didn't charge hourly for any of it because I got really tired of the hourly model. I thought, I don't want my clients to feel like, I'm an attorney calling them and billing them for every single phone call and meeting minutes. I just said, let's adjust our fee so that it will include design services.
Wow.
And it just took off.
So you are a general contractor.
I am.
And interior designer.
Yes.
Did your school, going to college, did it prepare you with your degree for general contracting?
In a way, yes. I never thought about it while I was in school, but you learn so much about, planning and development in construction. And, you learn a lot about the mechanical and electrical plans and what all is required in that. And so in a way, it really did prepare me.
Right.
Yeah. Not at all for the experiences in the field that happen in construction. That is something that can only happen through years and years of being in the midst of it. And it is crazy.
Yeah. They don't teach that in school.
No, anything can happen and you got to be ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your dad, is he still heavily involved in the company?
My dad retired in the winter of 2018.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. So I am 100% the sole owner of the company now,
Wow.
and have been since the beginning of 2019.
Is
Yeah.
he just so proud? I can't even imagine.
He is, yeah, yeah. I mean, we are as a family. It's been really exciting. My sister also works with me,
She does.
and yeah, she came on as my assistant a few years ago because we needed somebody in that role. I was managing construction and interior design and doing all of the order fulfillment and managing the logistics. And so Shelby, my sister, came to work for us a couple years ago, and so it really is a family business.
It is.
You know, in every sense. And so as a family, I think we're all excited about that and proud that we've been able to build that together.
Oh, my-
Yeah.
right. I mean, gosh, what a gift to your dad. I mean, and your mom, because that seeing Greg did that with Blackman Maury.
Right. Absolutely. He did.
You know, the dad and mom started it, and the guys finished it. You know, drove it home. The kids. So, you know, it's a great feeling. Of course,
It is.
So, tell me how things have changed since you graduated college. How has the design world changed so much? And we're going to talk about COVID, but how much has changed?
Well, it really has changed entirely, because historically, you know, when you wanted to design your home or you wanted to shop for furniture, whether you hired an interior designer or you chose to do it yourself, you had to go out there and you had to, you know, go to different showrooms and different retail stores, and you had to sit in sofas, and you had to go all over the place to furnish your house. Whereas now there's so much availability online for product, you know, and textiles and artifacts and things like that. So that has really changed the way that interior designers have to do business. You know, and I've always been really transparent about my fee structure. You know, I purchase furniture at wholesale for the most part and resell it to my clients at cost plus 50%. And that sounds like a lot, but standard retail markup for furniture is actually 200%. So y'all, when you go to Pottery Barn or you go to West Elm, you're paying an enormous markup for that piece of furniture, and for the most part, it's coming from overseas. And so, you know, when you buy furniture at wholesale and you're getting it through an interior designer, you're able to get a really great quality product that's handmade in the United States, and you know, and you're getting it at usually a better rate than you would get in a retail environment.
Wow.
But my point in saying this, and that, you know, I've always been transparent in my fee structure, is that a lot of times when I'm at the World Trade Center and, you know, I'm talking with the people who are responsible for fulfilling the orders and the salespeople, you know, it's like this big secret about, well, how do you want us to tell your client?
Yes.
Because historically, you could interview 10 interior designers. They're all going to charge differently for their services. It really is. It's not standardized. But the point is that now, since everything is available online, people can price check things. You really just have to be upfront with your client and say, hey, this is what I charge. This is why I charge what I do. And so, you know, I think that it's changed the way that we have a relationship with our clients. And I think that's a good thing for the most part.
You know, and you, if you tell your client, okay, this manufacturer, this, this retailer, I trust the product, you know, because I was looking for something online the other day and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sitting in it. I mean, I don't know. And I'm trying to do it myself. And
and I've got to tell you that, you know, I had some concerns about just how virtual interior design is becoming. Like, I'll see ads on Instagram where it says, you know, click here, send a photo of your room, we'll send you a design plan and links to the furniture. And I'm thinking, this is really kind of terrible. And, you know, and then COVID happened and I tried to do this virtually. You know, I sent my clients finished packages and I sent presentations, and it didn't work, Tiffany. It didn't work because you have to touch it. You've got to feel it. You've got to be able to see those finishes and those pieces of furniture in person to really get the full picture and the full effect. And so I think that just is really a testament to interior designers and the work that we do, and how important it is to, have that contact and be able to sit on the sofa before you buy. You can't buy furniture online.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I just don't believe that. But I know
Yeah.
a lot of our friends do.
I know. Well, people do it all the time, but I can't tell you how many homes that I have refurnished for people who made the mistake of buying everything online. You've got to go out there. You've got to sit in it. You have to try different pieces. And that's super important.
It really,
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
I know I made the mistake of buying something and not sitting in it. It was a custom piece. Ugh, jeez.
I know. I know. And hey, if it's something
Shame on me.
if it's something that you're never going to sit in and it's just meant to sit there and be beautiful and sculptural, who cares?
Right.
But, if you want to use it, you got to sit in it. You have to
Oh,
try it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm that person that buys white furniture and white rugs. Oh
Mhm.
my
Me
goodness.
too.
Yeah,
But
right.
you know what? We have performance fabrics now. So, there are a lot of fabrics that are solution dyed acrylics, and they are actually surprisingly incredibly soft. They're amazingly durable. You can bleach them. You can basically do anything except for set them on fire because they are acrylic and they will melt. But it's amazing. So you can have all white furniture and all white rugs now because of the great product that is on the market.
But
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't freak out when a person with red wine walks
Oh,
across.
yeah.
Like, oh, it's a performance fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you still freak out. The other day, my boyfriend Sam had set down a cup of coffee on the sofa, on the white sofa. And
Not an interior designer.
why he put it on the sofa, I don't know. But I went and sat on the sofa and there went the coffee. And I still freaked out. But it is a performance fabric and it can be clean.
and it can-
And hey, we live in our homes. It came out.
It came out.
It came out. Mhm.
Okay, okay. So just how much fabrics have changed and
Oh
finishes.
my gosh.
Is that crazy?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
crazy. And there is so much more available now than there ever was before. It really is incredible. And there's a lot to see. And I think that is another really great benefit to having an interior designer help you with your home and help you with your choices is because y'all just have no idea how much is out there. And it's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I highly recommend. I
Yeah,
highly recommend.
absolutely.
So, with your business, would you prefer if you? Well, I don't want to pigeonhole you, but do you have a preference, or does your team have a preference? Would you prefer to build from the ground up,
Mhm.
or would you rather do a remodel? What's more exciting? You'll do
Well,
anything, I'm sure. but-
Remodels are super exciting to me because it really is. It's energizing to be able to look at a home that it exists as it is today and figure out, well, what can it be and how can we redesign this and how can we add on to it. And my thing is, whenever we're adding on to a home, I'm super conscious about making it look like it always was, or like it was added onto in a way that feels really smart. Like there are, if you go into an old New England home that's been added onto, the floor heights are all at different levels, and there are different ceiling treatments, and it sounds weird, but it actually feels right.
Mhm.
And so, typically here in North Texas, when you add on, you just add on straight across. But we just did a home that was a 1940s German Tudor house, and the planning designer who I worked with, we made sure that we added on and we put the add-on at different levels so that it feels like, it was added on to over time and over the years, which is really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's history too,
Yeah.
right?
You don't want it to feel like you've just slapped on this brand new addition to a historic home.
And that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, it happens and it makes us cry. But oh well, we can't do every house in Fort Worth. But we are also super interested in new builds. New builds are exciting. It's a much easier process actually than remodeling because you're not working with pre-existing conditions. A lot of times in remodels, when you're dealing with an old home, all of the plumbing has to be updated, including the main line to the street. There's a lot of electrical that has to be updated. And so new construction is much more of a streamlined process.
Oh, yeah.
But we enjoy both.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have built from the ground up two homes, and I've done two two big remodels in my adult life.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and I wish at this phase of my life I could redo, because the problem is I'm in such a hurry.
Yeah.
I'm in such a hurry to get it done. I make the decisions. I just don't stop. And if I did have interior designers. That's what I'm going to talk about. But I am in a hurry. I'm like, let's go, let's go,
Right.
let's go.
Right.
And do you find that with your clients? Just, you want to say slow down, but we can't slow down. We got to move in.
Yeah. Well, we all have, it's the way we live now. There's just this, it's instant gratification, and we want it, and we want it now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's normal for everybody to want to do it all at once. But, I typically don't begin sourcing furniture for my projects until they're in their last 3 months of construction. I make sure that all of the finishes have been decided on. I make sure that, we have a full spatial envelope of what everything is going to look like before we begin selecting the furniture. Unless it's a built-in piece of furniture, the furniture really needs to be the last part of it, because the furniture doesn't really inform the design of the house. The design of the house informs the furniture.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. 1000%.
Yeah.
Okay. Define for me, because I have had one, a track home. Is that still a thing? You just kind of pick your packages. Is that what you do?
I think so. I've actually never done a track home because I find that incredibly boring. But typically, yes, when you're buying a track home, or you're buying a spec house, you're buying something that, typically the builder will go to a flooring liquidator and just buy whatever is, the least expensive.
Right.
And then those are the options that they'll give to their client. We don't do that. So, what we do is very client specific, incredibly so. And so I've never done the same thing twice. I may do the same countertop and use it in a different way. But I find that, I become really bored with repetition. I think there are a lot of interior designers and a lot of builders and contractors, for that matter, who, have made a name for themselves by designing in a particular style, right?
Sure.
Maybe they do all neutrals. Maybe they do tons and tons of color, and people have asked me about my particular style and how I design. And really it depends every single time on the client and their lifestyle and what their personal taste is. If you have 3 dogs and 3 kids, I'm going to make sure that you've got performance fabrics. And if you hate the color green, we're not going to put green in your home.
Sure.
So it just depends.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you personally, you just built a home in the last year. You moved in about a year ago, right?
I actually bought a house that was already built.
Okay.
So it was built by another builder. So everybody was like, this is crazy. Why didn't you build your own home? I remodeled my last house. So everybody was like, why are you, buying a house that's already built? And I was so busy with my business at the time that, I didn't have the time or the resources to do it. And so I said, well, I'm just going to buy a house. I told my realtor, I said, you know what? I'm going to look at 2 homes and I'm going to buy one of them.
Oh my.
Exactly. That's how busy I was. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
And so I bought the second home that I looked at. And when I moved into it, every single thing was very builder grade, very basic. And I just went in and I updated everything. I changed all the hardware. I changed all the light fixtures. Y'all, it really is amazing what changing fixtures, hardware, and tile and paint will do for a home.
The cheapest thing, paint.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Right.
It does.
So I transformed it and made it mine. Yeah.
You made it yours and you love it.
I do.
Okay.
I really do.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I'm seeing this. So, but would you consider yourself a color, like a big pop of color person? Are you more of a neutral or?
I love color. But I also love neutrals. And I think that, for me, I prefer to design with a relatively neutral palette or an earth tone palette. And remember, blues and greens are earth tones. Really, all colors are earth tones because they're all found in nature, right? But I tend to go for a more neutral, subdued palette for for the walls and the trims and the flooring and things like that. And then even in sofas and pieces of furniture, I may do one chair that has a really ornate fabric on it. But usually I'll do a neutral base to a sofa. Sofas are super expensive. They can be $10,000-$20,000. So, I say go for a really nice neutral fabric and then just jazz it up with really great pillows. If you get tired of the pillows in 5 years, that's easy. Switch them out.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, I do love color, especially in art. I think that, the pieces of art and things like that make people's homes feel really personal and special to them.
And happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely happy. Oh, my goodness. I love it. I just love it. I just want to redo it all. Sorry, Greg.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody buckle up. Well, so when you are working with clients, have you been in a situation that you just knew what they were asking for was not the way to go? Does that make sense?
Yes. Most of the time, actually, more often than not, that is the case. And
not just one time happening, right?
Yeah. And, I'm typically not the type of person to say no. I don't like the word no.
I hate the word
and
no.
so I don't use no with my clients. But I do try to guide people in the right direction if I know that things aren't going in in that way. So sometimes clients will come to me with an idea and I'll think, okay, well, that's a great idea, but let's make that a little bit more realistic. And so, it's a dance. I work with them through that process. And I've been super fortunate in my career to have clients who really trust me to guide them and to help them make the decisions for their homes. Right. And so that's been great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I've told you the story, and you might have been one of the many people that was praying I didn't do it. But when we bought this current home that we had,
I was one of the many people.
Okay, so
confirmed.
If you've seen my Instagram, I had the blue. It's like it's Wedgwood blue.
It is the most beautiful blue and white tile y'all have ever seen.
I didn't think it was.
It's beautiful.
Well, okay, so we walk in the house and I'm just like, okay, everything, the blue tile must go. That's going, because I wasn't a blue person per se, that blue.
Right.
I'm Tiffany.
Right.
But I said that tile has to go. And Pam Flowers, my interior designer for years and years, it just said, okay. So in the background, Rebecca Ferris with Bottega is the one that originally installed this hand-painted tile from Portugal.
Right.
And she was just saying, don't let her take that tile down. Don't let her do it.
Y'all, this tile thing was a big deal because Rebecca and I didn't even know that we had Tiffany in common. And Rebecca mentioned this to me. Yes. And so, yeah. So that, and then our builder and several people, especially the original owner. Yeah. Which, I'm ripping it out. And we're not talking about one wall. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of it.
It's all the way around the entire surface, the bottom. Oh, it was just crazy. And then I'm like, okay, because I think Pam was trying to have me marry this in my mind.
Right.
Like, don't get rid of this such expensive.
Yeah, and beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And I couldn't see it. So it's interesting, those of you listening, because I walk into something immediately, I'm like, I'm done. No, get rid of it. Go. See ya.
Yeah.
And all of these people in my life now, again, like yourself, you didn't know Rebecca. We love you, Rebecca. That we had this commonality in friendships, and when we finished, more people did come in. When the 360 West magazine came out and it was in there, we were like, thank goodness she didn't rip it out. I'm like, we were so close to ripping that out.
I know.
Then we were adding the loggia and we couldn't find Rebecca was trying to find the tile. I know she was going, please don't let her rip it out. I mean, but now my point is I walk up my stairs and I don't even see that tile. Mm-hmm. It just goes away. It's just, and it's all about everything that's in that room.
Yeah. And I think that, a lot of times in my work, I find that people can tend to get hung up on one specific thing. I do a lot of remodels and I design a lot of remodels. And so what happens in remodeling is that people are either living in the home or they're making a lot of site visits to the home. And, so people will see an unfinished product and a client will think, oh my gosh, we have to change that, or I'm not sure about that color. And I always tell people, I say, you know what? We can always change it in the end, but let's just get through this process. You have to trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And 99% of the time it works, and they love it in the end. And this is why, people hire interior designers, because they can't see what can be, right? So, you've got to have someone who you can trust to guide you through that.
I had the home in Fort Worth. I had a vision. I did have, and I always do with every single remodel or build that we've ever done, or room or whatever, had a vision, but the guidance, because you don't trust yourself.
No.
I mean, trust me. I just was like, you would think I've never done anything like this.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you do trust yourself, but you just need that reassurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So so that was something that I almost that would have been tragic. Now that
it would have been tragic. Yes.
You agree, right?
We all thank you for keeping the beautiful blue and white tile.
Is that crazy? I mean, it is, but it is what it is. But I don't see it. I love it. I embrace it. When I do see it, it just makes me happy.
Right.
Because there's there was a village behind me, for sure, definitely.
I know.
Okay. So those of you that are remodeling, or those of you out there that are going through this project, because right now everything is just so, like, somebody may want carpet. Is carpet in or is carpet out?
Carpet is in. I actually, something that I do a lot of times whenever we're dealing with a high traffic area, is that I will have carpets bound into an area rug, because typically carpets are a lot less expensive than a handmade rug, especially. And so I do a lot of that. I'm not a fan of wall-to-wall carpet. I'm just not. Now, is it something that's in style? Sure.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that, there are a lot of people who really love carpet. It is no longer a thing to put carpet in common areas, in main areas of your home. So you typically don't see living rooms and kitchens and bathrooms, thank God, that are done in carpet anymore. I still tear carpet out of bathrooms. I'm still doing homes that have original carpet from the 80s.
This is true. My parents built our home, and shag avocado green in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was a thing.
It was a thing. Thank goodness it's not anymore.
Was a thing.
Y'all, please don't put carpet in your bathroom.
But my mom would say, I like to get out of the shower and feel. I don't want cold tile on my feet.
Mm-hmm. You can put a little
rug
down. That's right.
Get a rug.
Yeah, get a rug. Mm-hmm.
Get a rug. So that is, yes. And in the kitchen, can you imagine?
No.
Yee. Oh
No.
my gosh. No. Okay. So carpet is still going on, because you remember the Berber
In bedrooms.
time?
Yeah. And now, I mean, Berber carpet is still around, but now there are so many, it's the same thing that we were talking about with the textiles and fabrics. There are so many different carpet options now. And I do love to see, on a beautiful wood traditional staircase, I love to see carpet, that has metal bindings. And I just think that that's beautiful and timeless.
Mm-hmm.
So I like carpet, used sparingly, but I don't like wall-to-wall carpet.
No, I don't.
Even in bedrooms, I don't. I love hardwood floors, real hardwood floors. It's classic. It's never going out of style, and it's a great investment. They are expensive, but it's a great investment because they can be refinished 4 times. So,
right.
And people want that. Even if you're reselling your house, people really go for hardwood floors.
Okay, so that was my question. So you prefer hardwood floors for sure?
Every time.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love my hardwood floors now. They're nothing like my previous home, which was the distressed.
Yes.
Very distressed,
Yeah.
very farmhouse,
Mhm.
Italian farmhouse.
Yeah.
Not this look I've got going here. But so wood, what do you think? And I know that price point, and we have every price point listening.
Absolutely.
What about the engineered wood?
Okay. So
What's the scoop?
that is a great question. You basically have to have a degree in engineered flooring to know, how to pick engineered wood. It's crazy. Some of it is extremely cheap, and the stuff that is, y'all, anything, for engineered flooring, anything below $5 a foot is crap. I actually, the home that you and I were just talking about that I bought has engineered wood flooring in it, and I knew that this was going to be the case. But the top surface of the wood, the veneer, has already started to peel back. And you know what? I don't have kids. My house doesn't get a lot of traffic. I'm not rough on it. I'm pretty tidy, and so those engineered floors were probably about $2 a foot.
Really?
Stay away from that. Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to rip it out and start over, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between a laminate and an engineered floor? Is there a difference?
An engineered floor, is a type of laminate, but it's a wood laminate. So it is real wood on the top layer, but underneath that top layer is a bunch of plywood and sometimes MDF. If that engineered wood flooring has any MDF in it, you really need to stay away from it, because that means that if it gets wet, water seeps into below the surface of the top of that floor. It's going to swell and it's going to start to buckle.
What's MDF?
It is medium density fiberboard.
Okay.
So MDF is in a lot of production furniture. It's in a lot of production build materials, and sometimes it's a great thing to use. I mean, a lot of times on beautiful paneled walls, trim carpenters will use MDF at the back of the wall, and then use wood at the front to make the trim detail, because it paints up so nicely and it's really smooth. But it's definitely not something that you want anywhere near a wet area. And you don't want it in your furniture. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think people are scared of hardwood floors. I know people are scared. Oh my goodness, if I spill water on it, we'll just wipe it up. I mean,
you know what? People, I think you're right. People do get concerned about it. I have to talk people into it a lot of times, because several times people want to use tile on their kitchen floors, and I say, no, please, let's do the hardwood. I think that the bigger concern is, what if the dishwasher, malfunctions and the water comes out? Well, that's a concern, but even if you've got tile, when that happens, the water, if the dishwasher erupts and overflows and you're not home, that water is getting into your walls, your baseboards, and everything. So the hardwood is really not a concern. It's actually very durable. And as I mentioned, it can be refinished so many times, and it's something that can really take a lot of traffic, and it can get worn. And I think even hardwood floors that start to become a little bit worn can look really great.
Yes, I agree. It's character.
Yeah,
it's character.
Character.
I'd say I have lines, but I try to rectify those. But they have a lot of character.
Yeah, there you go.
It is, exactly. Yeah. But when we first, I don't think we had moved in. The ice maker, we were gone. The ice maker, something malfunctioned, and we walked in the kitchen and it was just buckled. And Black Memorial fixed it. They dried it out and resanded it, and I mean, thank goodness. But I understand people that are just going, oh my gosh, it's expensive. And what is an average price per square foot for wood, or does it vary?
It's about $10 a foot installed for real hardwood. And here's the catch, y'all, is that a good piece of engineered hardwood flooring, price per square foot on one that is going to last and take wear and tear, is $10 a foot before it's installed. So hardwood flooring is actually, there's no contest. That's the way to go.
Okay. All right. No carpet. Hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. And, I see beautiful tile. Of course, beautiful tile in the bathroom. I love, so many pictures on their website of all of your homes that you've remodeled with beautiful tile.
Thank you.
And you use Bottega quite a bit.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I work with Bottega a lot. And something that I always love to do in bathrooms is to take, the tile all the way to the ceiling. I've even been known to tile entire bathrooms. Because it makes the room look bigger if the material is continuous throughout. So, I did a a somewhat small bathroom recently, and I tiled the walls floor to ceiling in this beautiful 12 by 24-inch tile that looks like grass cloth. And it was incredible.
Mm-mm.
And the client, I remember we had to have several conversations about that because they were concerned about, is it going to make the room look dark? Is it going to make it look small? But it really made it look much bigger than it was.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was beautiful. Yeah.
You did a blue tile,
Yes.
floor to ceiling.
Yes.
Oh, my
Mhm.
stars. I mean, just a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. I mean,
Yeah.
was that a
Are you
tough-
talking about the one that was kind of a cobalt darker blue?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was for my clients Richard and Ben, and it was a custom order tile we did through Bottega. And so it was actually a wet room, and what a wet room is essentially a shower that contains a tub in it. And so we tiled that entire space, and then we had this custom glass enclosure built so that would all be watertight. But yeah, that blue tile was it was incredible. And it was hand packed, and it was hand glazed, and kiln fired. And so you ended up with this really beautifully varied design. So every one of the tiles was a little bit different. So yeah, just super special.
And I know that the sexiest bathtub I've seen in my life. Right?
Yes.
Is that the most beautiful thing?
Yes.
You have to go to his website.
Yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
because it is stunning. I want to rip everything out. Okay. All right. So last weekend, you went to Heiko, didn't you, or something?
I did go to Heiko. So my family has a lake house on Lake Palapinto,
Yes.
which is about an hour and 20 minutes west of Fort Worth on Highway 20. Anyway, so I had gone out to the lake house, and there is nothing out there at all. And so I just, did a little Google search, and there's this town called Heiko that was about an hour south. And so I went out there and just, it's like a postage stamp town, but it was cute. And so
Yeah.
I just spent a couple hours there hanging out.
Well,
Had some good food.
Well, I judged the steak cook-off there for many years ago.
You did?
Okay. Be happy for me. Yes.
Yeah.
The steak, ribeye cook-off or something.
Yeah.
Fun fact. But my point is, when you posted, and I don't know if you found it in Heiko or somewhere else, but that's when you posted a photograph of this stunning wallpaper, which brings me to wallpaper.
Mhm.
That wasn't in Heiko, right?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's in one of your homes, right?
Yes.
It is like Shayne and I were texting, and you were saying every time you look at it, you find something
Oh yeah.
different.
Yeah, it's a wallpaper by a company called Cole & Son, and they just do these incredible papers. And the one that you're talking about, Tiffany, is it's called Ardmore, and they're these vases, but the vases are actually formed out of hand painted animals and florals and botanicals. And so it sounds crazy, but it's just absolutely beautiful.
It's ridiculous.
And, a powder bathroom is the place to do that. I mean, I've got this crazy paper in my powder bathroom that, they're just jaguars, in a row, beautiful wildcats. And so you can just do something fun in the powder bathroom, make it look great, wallpaper it. Wallpaper is a little expensive, but it's worth it in a powder bath because your guests are going to use it. And,
it's a happy
you might as well
place.
have something pretty to see when you're in there.
In the
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah.
It is what is amazing to me too, especially since this remodel we did, is how far wallpaper has come.
Oh, yes.
Oh my stars. I can't even. I'm the nightmare client because I can't make a decision. There's
I know.
hundreds of samples.
I know. Yeah.
Is that crazy how that's changed?
Yes, it is crazy. And I love wallpaper. I just think it's amazing. I just always, say use it sparingly. Don't go out and wallpaper every room of your house. It should be a statement. It's like art. So
It is.
have fun with it, but just don't go overboard.
And it is, stunning. Some of the showrooms in Dallas that I looked at, just shells and pressed shells.
Yeah.
And just the illusion. But, I'm taking this to the talent of the world now.
Right.
The talent of the world and the design world and the construction and manufacturing, right? There's
Yes.
so many things.
Yes. And there are so many, one of the wonderful things that has happened in interior design over the past few years is that, there are so many artists who are doing collaborations with interior designers. And there are interior designers who are designing lighting for these, major lighting companies now. And so, it's all sort of coming together and it's like there's all this availability because we have Instagram and we have Facebook and everybody's communicating and talking and, they're starting partnerships and it's so cool to see it and to be a part of that.
Isn't it
Yeah.
amazing? I mean, how much we're talking.
Yeah.
I mean, electronically, but
Yes,
we are. I mean,
but we
we're
are.
a visual world right now.
Yeah.
Like crazy. So let's go ahead and hit the COVID because we're still there. And
Right.
so how that affected you. So right now we're recording in September
Yeah.
of 2020.
Right.
And so we've been in this for a minute.
Mhm.
So tell me how that affected your business.
Yeah. So in the very beginning, whenever all of the guidelines were coming out, and, I remember we were watching it every day to see if, we were still going to be considered essential work. We're in construction. And so because of that, we were able to keep working. And I think I had about 6 projects that were ongoing at the time, and we were just hoping, that we could continue doing them and getting our clients into their houses. And we were able to continue working. But I remember, I had a conversation with my sister, Shelby, who works with me. And I said, this is going to have a profound effect on our company, on our industry and the way that we do business. And it has, there are a lot of issues right now, supply chain issues. So, what's happening is that the banks are lending money for almost nothing. And so people are building new homes because there's almost no inventory of new homes because people are reluctant to sell a home during COVID. And so what's happening since, there's all this new build production, there's a lumber shortage. And so lumber cost has gone up 40%, which is staggering,
and unheard of. I mean, precedented times.
Unheard of. So you have in a time where it's like, you're a small business and you're still trying to be able to, appeal to your client and get that job. Well, costs are going up. And so you're having to combat that too. But, it's strange, Tiffany, things like hardware that, I might order online that would typically be here in 3 or 4 days are taking, in some cases, 3-4 weeks to arrive. And so, we've just had to be really on top of all of the selections for the new projects that we have coming up. I'm now making all of the finished selections and design selections for the projects before we even begin the demolition because I need to make sure that it's here and that we have it and we can get it installed for our clients. Yeah.
In timing. Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And your sister helps you so much.
Oh my gosh. She helps me so much. So her title is project coordinator, but there is really not anything that she does not do. Yeah. That girl is amazing.
Oh, shout out to Shelby.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
how long has she been with y'all?
She's been with me for 3 years now.
Really? And you've been with your your company now?
Yeah, 7 years.
7?
Going on 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, my stars.
Yeah.
And you're based in Fort Worth.
Oh, yeah. Born and raised here. The company's based in Fort Worth. And, funny story about my sister coming to work for me. So, I had been trying to negotiate with my dad for quite a while when we had first become business partners to hire Shelby to work for us. And he said, I'm just not doing that. You can do it after you retire. I think he was concerned about having, another family member in the business. But she actually ended up getting laid off from her job years ago. And she called my dad, daddy's girl. And, dad said, well, your brother's been wanting to hire you. So why don't you come to work for us? And so he called me and he said, hey, I just hired your sister. It's great. You're going to have an assistant. And I said, Daddy, she lives with me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So at the time, I had this adorable little, actually, I still own it, but I'm renting it to somebody. But I had an adorable little A-line mid-century modern house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and this tiny little laundry room. And she was living in that house with me.
Oh gosh.
And so, I actually 3 months after we hired her, my dad said to me, he said, Shayne, you realize you cannot continue to fire her every week and then bring her back. He said it's not good for morale. And so I said, you know what, you're right. And so for the first time in my whole life, I went to see a therapist, and I was telling her about this, and she said, Shayne, the choice is easy. She said, you either fire Shelby or you guys have to have your own places.
No joke.
And so I went home and I told Shelby, I said, well, I went to therapy. And Shelby said, I already know. She said, I'm moving out next week. I'm getting my own place. So it worked out great. And we've been working together ever since.
Younger or older?
She's 3 years younger.
3 years younger.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What a great story though. I mean, with your dad. And
thank you.
And she gets it, I'm sure.
She does.
And
Yeah.
you're still brother and sister, right?
Yeah.
That's what your dad was afraid of.
Right.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let me talk to you a little bit about something we have in common. We both have our little fur babies right now. You
Mhm.
have new Waylon. Now, Waylon is
Yeah.
What kind of dog?
Waylon is a Cavalier King Charles, and he's a tricolor, which means that he is black, white, and has little red markings on his face. And he is so cute. He's about 15 weeks old now.
He's baby.
Oh yeah, he's a baby. But you know what, Tiffy, it is crazy to me how fast they grow.
Oh.
I mean, he went to Houston with my boyfriend Sam this weekend, and they came back on Sunday, and I looked at that dog and I'm like, is that the same dog?
Is that so?
Did you bring back a different dog? I'm like, what happened to my dog?
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, but it's so great. I love having the little dog. He's so much fun, and he's got a lot of energy. I was not fully prepared for just how much work a puppy is.
Oh.
I mean, it's been amazing. We love him, but man, it's like having a baby.
Oh, yeah, you
And
can't.
they cry at night.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Yeah,
it's serious stuff.
And potty training? Are we still?
Oh yeah, you know what? He has not had an accident in the house in about 4 weeks now.
Okay, so let's find some
So,
wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know. But, even when he was still having accidents in the house, they were few and far in between. He's a really good dog.
Oh,
We got
wow.
lucky.
Performance fabrics too.
Yeah. Yes, y'all. Get those performance fabrics and performance rugs.
Well, and we were talking about this earlier. I have never had a pet in my life. So when Kennedy,
Yeah.
my daughter, she was getting ready to graduate high school, and I was afraid. Was bitten very young.
Mhm, that'll do it.
That did it. And I just kept saying, I'm going to get a dog. And everybody's like, you're not getting a dog. You jump up on the counter when we, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
not, it's not happening. And I found her, and I love her.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I this weekend.
Little Layla B.
Oh, she's just I love her.
Yeah.
So this weekend, Greg was walking her, and bless his heart, he dropped the leash, and she was attacked by another dog and bit her in the
Oh,
eye
no. Oh, my
and
gosh.
scratched cornea. And I didn't realize as well the medical bills that can add up too.
Oh, yes.
But I got this. I mean,
Yes,
she's
well,
my baby.
I know. And speaking of the cornea, our little Waylon had this issue about 3 weeks after we brought him home. He had, now, do you know that dogs have a third eyelid?
Mm-mm.
They have 3 eyelids, Tiffany.
They do not.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy. So, it's something weird was going on with his eye. It was super like cloudy and wonky. And so we took him to the vet, and they said, it's a lazy eye. And I said, no, it's not. I said, I've had this dog for 3 weeks. And I said, I put it down for a nap, and it didn't wake up with a lazy eye.
No.
So anyway, he saw a canine ophthalmologist. I did not know that there was such a thing.
Of course there is.
And then we just found out that his eye, his third eyelid is still developing. And so that was exposed.
Oh my.
But yeah, it's amazing. Dogs have all kinds of health issues and conditions just like we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Well,
why we have excellent vets. Yeah.
Exactly. 1000%.
Yeah.
I know. So we just love her, and she's a little princess girl. And Greg, we thought he would never conform because he had
Mhm.
big boy dogs.
Mhm. Right.
Not anymore. So
Yeah.
anyway, but he loves her. So for sure. So how's Sam? You're in a not so new relationship. How long have y'all been together?
We have been together. Let's see. It will be, Tiffy, it'll be 2 years in November.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 years in November. And he's just awesome. I had really run the gambit on dating. Let me tell you. I mean, I had dated and dated. I had been dating since I was 16 years old.
Oh, no.
I'm 30 now. I was 28 when I met Sam. And when I met him, it was instant.
Was it?
Yeah, but I got to tell you the story about how we met. I don't know if you know this or not, but we actually met on Bumble. So
Swipe right.
Yep, swipe
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Met on Bumble, and I thought he was adorable, and I guess he thought I was pretty cute too.
Yeah,
But
feeling was mutual.
we talked on Bumble for a while, and then I think we ended up following each other on Instagram. And he had gone to New Orleans with a group of friends from Dallas, and he sends me a picture of this table of guys at brunch that he was there with, and in the photo was a guy who I had previously dated, and I thought,
no.
well, this is the end of this. I'm like, I'm not even going to talk to
Not
Sam
going there.
anymore,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mhm.
So I just ghosted him and stopped talking to him. And he loves to tell this story, by the way, about how he was ghosted by me.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway, stopped talking to him for a while, but we were following each other on Instagram, remember? So, a few months later, he posted a picture on his story and he was holding his adorable little niece. And I saw that picture and it was so cute. And so I messaged him and I said something super corny. Like I was like, oh, this is so cute or whatever. And he said, yeah, she's pretty cute, talking about his niece. And I said, well, I wasn't talking about your niece.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So very
Yeah.
corny, but
Yes,
anyway,
yeah. But it worked.
But it worked. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm sorry I didn't follow up. And I said, I owe you a dinner. And so I said, well, would you go ahead and meet me in Fort Worth for dinner? So we had dinner at Pacific Table. That was our first date.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? We've been together ever since.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so great. I mean, I just love both of you. You're just fabulous.
Well, we
people.
love you.
Well,
we love you.
Thank you for
And
loving Tiffy.
I want to say just a quick fabulous story about you, Tiffany.
Oh, dear.
So, I was listening to one of your podcasts and you mentioned how, you've had people before who have told you that when they first met you, they were intimidated by you and that, you're like, hey, it's just Tiffy, what's the big deal, right? But you know what? You are magnanimous and fabulous and you just are. And so I remember when I first met you, I thought, I was a little intimidated too, but y'all, let me tell you, it was when I was first getting to know Tiffany, she had me out to her house and invited Sam, my boyfriend, and our mutual friend, Stephanie Perry. And Kennedy was there too, your daughter. And,
Right.
We all got together. And I remember we were talking about summer plans and you found out that I was going to Mexico with Sam. And you knew the resort we were staying at, and you said, it's going to be fabulous. Y'all will have so much fun. And, I think it was the next day after we arrived in Mexico, we were settled in, and Sam and I had lunch by the beach, and two members of the resort staff, two fabulous ladies came, and they had a bottle of champagne, and they said, y'all, this is a gift from your friend, Tiffany Blackman. And I just looked at Sam and I said, that is the sweetest, most fabulous thing I have ever heard. Yeah. And so you're just a wonderful person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying
Yeah,
that.
you're
That
lovely.
is so sweet. I appreciate that so much.
I will
I don't know
never-
what to say. I'm speechless.
I will never forget that.
Well-
It was just such a kind gesture.
Well,
so
it came from the
speaks
heart.
to who you
well,
are.
thank you very much. It comes 1000% from the heart because, I think life is about friendships and evolvement. And
Absolutely.
I really, really do.
Yeah.
We've talked relationships on here, and I'm at that point. I just want to nurture those that are really important. I mean, in everyone, of course,
Yeah.
but people that make a point of doing what you just did, of course. But I mean, just everyone making someone feel special. That's what I
And
want.
people remember that.
Yes.
People will always. It's like we say, right? People will forget what you did, and they'll forget what you said, but they're never going to forget the way you made them feel.
This is true.
And it's so important to keep that in mind.
So sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you have a big event coming with Fort Worth Magazine.
I do.
Tell me
Yes.
what's going on. We love
Yes.
Fort Worth Magazine.
Yeah. So every year, Fort Worth Magazine, they honor some of the local entrepreneurs entrepreneurs with an award that is called the Entrepreneur of Excellence Award. And they're having a big award ceremony dinner at the Fort Worth Club tomorrow. It was something that I was nominated for, and I am a finalist with two other general contractors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And so
amazing?
I couldn't believe it. And the other guys in the category definitely have more years behind them and more experience. And so I was just so honored to, even be nominated as a finalist with those guys. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness. Can you believe where your life has, you knew what you wanted to do, but can you believe you're sitting here now and
No.
you've done it?
No, it really is crazy. And it's so exciting. And I still have so much to do. I have so many plans. But I have always wanted to own my own business. I come from an entrepreneurial family. But I never thought that I would own a construction company in any form or capacity. And I do own a construction company, and it's performing really well. And I never imagined I'd be a general contractor, but here I am, a designer and a general contractor.
So proud of you.
Which makes sense because the two things go hand in hand. I always say you can't do one well without the other. You've got to have interior design, and you have to have a great general contractor. That's how you get a great outcome in a construction project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a perfect marriage. I mean, it just sounds like the perfect plan.
Yes.
I mean, of course, why not? And good for you guys for thinking of this, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh,
I just
thank you for
love
having
you.
me.
Oh
I
my
love you
goodness.
too.
I mean, just such a great friend, and I'm so proud of you, and I love watching you. And gosh, I may need some help someday. But okay, tell us your website and your Instagram.
Yeah. So my website is morrisseyhomesolutions.com, and y'all can follow me on Instagram at Morrissey Home.
And you've been doing lives. You've done 3 now. I watched. You did one last night because you're busy on Thursday, but you like to do those on Thursdays. What time?
Thursdays at 7.
So Thursdays at 7, and you have someone in the industry, specifically in your industry. So that's great. So everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching us if you're on YouTube, because if you'll go there and rate and review, because we're trying to get up in that Apple world, the podcast world. Oh my goodness, what a different world that is, right? And then follow me on Instagram at Tiffany C. Blackman. And everyone, please keep staying fabulous.